Hey guys, hi and welcome to this session. Today's topic is heat. So it's going to be an amazing session, and after this session, you will get to know everything about heat. So, are you ready? So, let's start. Heat. So, what is heat? So, when a object and when a hot object and a cold object come in contact with each other, a type of energy flows from the hot to the colder one, and that energy is known as heat energy. So now I will tell you what is heat energy. Okay. So imagine this is an hot object and this is an cold object. This object, okay, this is an hot object and this is an cold object. If both are coming like this, from the cold object to the hot object, from the hot object to the cold object, one energy flows. Okay, so the type 1 of energy flows from the hot object to the cold object. Okay, so that energy is known as heat. Okay, now hot and cold. So we can understand if an object is hot or cold by sense of touch. So let me take an example. I will take this cap. So by touching it, I can tell this is hot or cold, right? Right? We can understand this is hot or cold. When touching it, it is normal, not too hot, not too cold. It is like warm. Okay. Now, so it can trick us sometimes. Therefore, we use thermometer. Sometimes it will trick us. Like we will take some normal water. Okay, not little warm water, not very hot, not very hot, not warm. In the middle, like hot. You can see here cold, cool, warm, hot, very hot. So, like hot in the middle. Some people will bath in hot water, right? So they bath in the medium, warm or hot water. So the hot water will be, if we put our hand into the hot water, nothing will happen. That will be normal warm. But when we put our hand into the cold water, it will be cold, right? Keep it for some time. And now if we put at the normal hot water, the hot water feel very cold, hot. The hot, but it is the normal hot only. But after putting into the cold water and putting into the hot water our hand, it will be so much hot. That's why it can trick us. That's why we use thermometer. Okay, so the temperature of an object, it is the degree of hotness. So it is the degree of hotness or coldness of an object. So the temperature, what is temperature? It is the degree of hotness. It is hot or cold. Okay, so the normal human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. So what is the machine or what is the thing used to measure the hotness or coldness? That's known as thermometer. So it is a device that can be used to find out how hot an object is. So that can be used to find out how hot an object is. So in other words, we use a thermometer to measure temperature of an object. Okay, so if we put temperature into our mouth, thermometer into our mouth, the thermometer will show our temperature. Then I have told you the normal human body temperature is 37 degrees Celsius. Okay, now clinical thermometer. So there are four types of thermometer. Okay, one is clinical, one is digital, one is what? Laboratory. One is maximum to minimum. Maximum to minimum and laboratory thermometer is almost same. So clinical thermometer, it is a device that is used to measure the body temperature of a person. So it is a device used to measure the body temperature of a person. Clinical thermometer, body temperature. Okay, so it is made up of a glass tube of uniform thickness. So it is made up of a glass tube which is transparent, we can see inside, and the glass tube contains a bulb at one end which is filled with mercury. So it contains a bulb at the, you can see, right? While we start from 42, while we come like this, it will come 35, then slowly there will be a bulb. The the thermometer is in the shape of like this, right? Then it will go like this. this like it will be coming, then it will literally expand and go like this. So this small part here, the mercury will be there. You can see here, okay, you can see here that here the mercury will be there, okay. So in that bulb, the mercury will be there. Mercury. Why they are using mercury? Why can't they use gold, silver, platinum, copper, or something? Because they are like what? They are solid. Okay. So mercury is liquid at the room temperature. Solid cannot go like the liquid, right? Solid have a definite shape. Solid doesn't take the shape of the container, but liquid takes the shape of the container, okay. So that's why only mercury is the metal at the room temperature, okay. So the mercury level in thermometer rises up in thread like portion of thermometer, which therefore indicates the temperature of body. So the down, the bulb, it will be so shiny, right? So inside the bulb there will be mercury, okay. So when we put it into our mouth, when the heat will come, the things will expand. I think you have already studied it. When the when what, when we put, so sorry, so when heat will come, the thing or substance will expand, right? So when we put it into our mouth, the heat will be coming, our body's heat will be touching that mercury, so that mercury will expand. But mercury doesn't have any way to go outside. Doesn't, mercury is inside, right? It don't have any ways to go. But there is only one way, it is to the up, right? 35, 36, 37, that side. So it will expand and it will go up. That's how it tells the temperature of the body, okay. Now the level of the mercury can be measured by reading the scale given on the thermometer. So it can be measured by the scale given on the thermometer, and the scale of the thermometer records the temperature in degrees Celsius. It records the temperature in degrees Celsius, and I have told you generally 35 degree to 42 degrees Celsius, okay, which is the range of human body temperature. 37 is the normal. On average, the temperature of a human body is 37 degrees Celsius. I had already told you the average temperature of a human body is around 37 degrees Celsius. So when you take the phone, you will see the weather outside. There will be two. One will be 37 or one will be 38. Like one is minimum and one is maximum. Okay. So now the not 37 degrees Celsius, sometimes it will be there, sometimes it will be not there. Now how to use a clinical thermometer? Now we learned about clinical thermometer. Now how to use it? First, wash the thermometer with an antiseptic solution. So we should wash the thermometer with antiseptic solution. Otherwise, if the doctor is putting the thermometer to others mouth and just cleaning it, and if we put it into our mouth, if they have fever, we will get it, okay. So that's why we should wash the thermometer with antiseptic solution. And before taking the thermometer give a few jugs to bring down the level of mercury below 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, this I will explain you. In this thermometer, at the bulb like it will go up, right? So the up end of the bulb there will be a thing known as kink. Okay, so when the mercury is going up, that kink will block the mercury and that will not allow the mercury to go down. If we keep the thermometer in a place for 2 hours, 3 hours, it will not go down. It will be in 39 degrees Celsius only, because the kink is blocking the mercury and kink is not allowing that mercury to fall down. So that's why they are telling you should um, jug the thermometer, okay. We should do like this, then the mercury will come down below 35 degrees Celsius, down the level of mercury below 35 degrees Celsius, like doing like this is okay. Then the thermometer is placed in the beneath the tank for about a minute. Then you know, right, they will place the tank for a minute. Then you can take it out and observe the temperature reading on the thermometer. That's all how to use clinical thermometer, okay. Now moving on, while using a clinical thermometer, the following precautions should be taken. So while using the thermometer, there are some precautions you should take. Okay. So the thermometer should be washed before and after use, preferably with an antiseptic solution. You know, right? Before putting into a person's mouth, they will be taken from the other's mouth and they will be putting into our mouth. So before and after too, after us, they will be putting into other somebody's house, somebody's mouth. So that's why they should wash before and after with an antiseptic solution, and it should be handled with care. It should be handled with care. Okay, mercury should that bulb should not break. Okay, so the bulb of a thermometer should not be touched while taking a reading. So the bulb of a thermometer should not be touched. So while reading, the bulb of a thermometer should be not touched. Hold the thermometer by its glass body. Hold the thermometer by its glass body, not with that mercury containing part. Okay, we should handle it with care and hold the glass body. Okay, and it should be ensured that before use the mercury level should be 35 degrees Celsius below. So before putting into someone's mouth, that the mercury's level should be below 35 degrees Celsius. Okay, so now laboratory thermometer. Now the laboratory thermometer is used to find out the temperature of the other objects such as water rather than human body temperature. So the now we learned about clinical thermometer. They are used to what they are used to measure our body temperature. Okay, human body's temperature, not ours, human body's temperature. But this laboratory thermometer is used to measure the other things like chemical solutions, water. They can also, there is one more specialty, they can like measure to minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. How it will be? Minus 10 degrees Celsius to 110 degrees Celsius. So the laboratory thermometer is used to measure like chemical solution, water. So water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, right? So while boiling the water, you can put laboratory thermometer into water. If you put clinical thermometer, it will not be working and it will break or something will happen. Okay, so you should put laboratory thermometer. In clinical thermometer, I think only till 42 it's there. So in laboratory thermometer, it there in 110 degrees Celsius, till 110 degrees Celsius it is there. That's why you can put the laboratory thermometer while boiling water to measure the degree Celsius, and it will be 100 while boiling. So now the precautions should be taken while using laboratory thermometer. Okay, laboratory thermometer. So handle the thermometer with care. That's every thermometer we should handle with care. And do not hold the thermometer by the bulb. This I have already told you. While reading, you should not touch the bulb. Okay, so the thermometer should be kept upright, not tilted. So it should be not tilted, it should be kept upright. Okay, upright. So the bulb should not touch the surface of the container. So the bulb should not touch the surface of the container where we are keeping the bulb, should not touch that. Now moving on, digital thermometer. Now digital thermometer. What is digital thermometer? Nowadays digital thermometers are used to measure body temperature. So how many of you have a thermometer in your home? Comment down below or put it in the live chat. Who have thermometer in your home? It should be it will be clinical or it will be labor. Sorry, it will be digital. Okay, so digital. I have the thermometer in my home. That's digital. Okay, so nowadays digital thermometers are used to measure body temperature. They will put it into our mouth. Then digitally you can see the right 36.6 degrees Celsius it is written. That like it will show our human body temperature. So they work on tiny dry cells. So tiny dry cells they work, and it is safer because it doesn't contain mercury, which is a toxic substance. So don't play with mercury. I forgot to tell about that. If mercury, we should not touch or we should not drink, or it should not come to our eyes. So one thing, while putting into our mouth, if bulb or glass break means the mercury will go inside the body and we will die or something will happen. So the digital thermometer is safe than the clinical thermometer because in the digital thermometer there is no mercury, okay, which is a toxic substance. Don't play with it, okay. So heat energy always flow from the region for higher temperature to the region of lower temperature till both attain the same temperature. This phenomenon is called the transfer of heat. So the heat travels from the higher temperature to the lower temperature. Okay. So the main ways by which transfer of heat occurs are convection, and radiation. Okay. Are you guys understanding? So moving on, conduction. Now, what is conduction? Conduction is the transfer of heat from the hotter part to the colder part. Okay. So, due to the collision of its particles without actual movement of the particles from their position. So, due to the I will explain you. Conduction is the transfer from the hot part to the cold part. Okay. So, if this is the hot part and this is the okay. So, if this is the hot part and this is the cold part, from the hotter part, the heat will be transferred to the colder part. Okay. That's known as conduction. Now, what are conductors? What are conductors? So, the object that can allow the heat to flow through them are called conductors. So the heat to flow through them, the substances which will allow heat to flow through them are known as conductors. So some things like what? Some substances will not allow the heat to pass through it, but some substances will allow. That's the substances which will allow heat to pass through it is known as conductors. Okay, for example, metals such as aluminium, okay, aluminium and copper, okay. Now, what are insulators? The object that do not allow uh, the flow of heat from them are called insulators. So, like plastic or wood, if you take a wood or if you take a plastic, the heat will be not going through it or it will be not flowing through it. It will not allow the heat. So the substances which do not allow the heat to flow through them are known as insulators. The things which will allow heat to pass through them is known as conductors, and the heat transferring process is known as conduction. Now, what is convection? So the transfer of heat in liquids and gases is called convection. So the transfer of heat in liquids, you know liquids, right, and gases is known as convection. So the molecules of the liquid or gases that are near the source of the heat get heated first. So the molecules early of the liquid or gases. So the thing, if we put a bowl like this, okay, I will tell you, take an example. Wait 1 minute, please. Okay. Now, if this is an container containing liquid, okay, and here is the heat, here is the fire, okay. So this part, the downer part will heat fastly because the fire is coming here, and this part, this downer part will get heat fastly, okay. So the molecules of liquids or gases that are near the source of the heat is known as, so they will get heated fastly, they become light due to the heat, and then they will move upwards and the heavier particles will come down. So if here these things will go up and this above things will come down due to the heat. So the colder particles being heavier take the place, and this process continues until the whole liquid or gas gets heated. So this process will continue until the whole thing gets heated. So that is why the area above the flame a candle always feels hot, but the area on the sides of the candle does not. At the so you know, right, at the side of the candle there will be not much hot, but at the up of the candle there will be some hot. Okay. Now, what is radiation? What is radiation? So it is a process of transfer of heat in the form of waves. So in the form of waves, the heat will be transferring. Radiation doesn't require a medium. It can occur in vacuum too. Okay. So for example, the sun heat reaches the earth's surface through the radiation. So every hot object radiates some heat to the environment. Every hot object here objects the object every hot object radiates some heat to the environment, and hence many times an object get heated just being near to a hot object. So I will tell you, in an oven, you know, right? Oven, we bake or we make hot. We will take from, if this we will take some object from the fridge and we will keep it to the oven, and we will like set how much time we want, and that oven will make it hot. But inside the oven, the heat is coming through the radiation. Inside the oven there is no fire, nothing. The heat is coming through the radiation. That's why it will be so yummy. And moving on, now sea breeze. What is sea breeze? So the wind blowing from the sea towards the land is called sea breeze. So the wind blowing from the sea to the land is known as sea breeze, because during the daytime the land is coastal and area gets heated due to the sun's radiation. The sea also gets heated, however it takes more times. So what it means, during the day or something, okay, sorry, during the day the land will be little warm, not full cold, little warm, and sea will be cold because they are water, they will be cold. So the sea will get more time to heat. For while sun is coming with this, the sea will take more time to heat. Okay. And the land, it will take lesser time. Okay. So the sea also get heated, however it take more time to get heated up than the land. Hence the air above the land gets heated faster than the above the sea. So the air upside of the sand will get heated fastly than the sea. So while you go to the beach at the daytime, while you go to the beach at the sand will be too hot, right? And if you step on the sand, it will be too hot. But if you go to the water, it will be cold. So the water is getting heated, but it is getting slowly. Okay. So the land is getting fastly because the land there will be normal warm, and when sun will come, it will get very hot. Okay. So the hot air from the land rises above as it is lighter, and the cooler air from the sea being heavier take place. It's so that results the sea breeze. Now, what is land breeze? Okay. So the wind blowing from the land towards the sea is called land breeze. So during the night time, the land in the coastal areas get cooler down faster than the sea. Air above the sea is hotter than the air above the land. So now the as the land is getting fastly hotter, the land will get fastly colder too. So when it will come to the night time, the land will get so much colder, and the water will slowly get colder. Okay. Because the water is now fully hot. So to become warm or to become cool, it will take so many time than the land. So the land breeze. So from the land to the sea, the water the air breeze will go, because the land it is cooler and the sea it is hotter. So what will happen, from the land to the sea the breeze will go, that's not as land breeze. So during the night time the land in the coastal areas get cooler down faster than the sea, and the air above the sea is hotter than the air above the land. So if that thing is hotter, the above air will be also hotter, right? And therefore the air above the sea rises, and the air from the land being cool flows towards the sea, and that result in land breeze. Okay. Now the clothes which in winters and summers. Okay. Now woolen clothes are obtained from animal fibers. So the woolen clothes are obtained from animal fibers. Okay. So woolen clothes are generally dark in color, are worn in the winter season as they protect us from the cold environment. Okay. So black. black object, what will happen? It absorbs every light, right? It absorbs everything, and woolen clothes are obtained. Summer season cotton cloth, winter season we will wear the woolen clothes. Okay. So now it protects us from the cold environment. Cotton clothes are obtained from plant fibers. Okay, they are obtained from plant fiber, and the cotton clothes are generally light in color and we are worn in the summer season. I told you cotton cloth in summer season, woolen cloth like winter season, and okay, rainy season silk. Okay. Now, how does the woolen cloth keep us warm? So the woolen cloth are the bad conductor of heat. So they are the bad conductor of heat, and therefore they do not allow the heat from the body to move out in the environment. So that's that because of that they will not go much fastly outer. Okay, I have already told you the white color will reflect every light. So while we look into the white color, we will our eyes will get something. If there is so many white color, if there is a little white color, if we look into it, nothing will happen. But if there is so many white color, so much place in 1 kilometer, and if we look into the white color during the day, the our eyes will be like this. We can't open our eyes really. So that clearly, so that's why the other day the like what the white color will reflect every light, and the black color will absorb every light. So the black color absorbs every light. Okay. And they do not allow the light to go outside. That same happens. Everything woolen clothes are obtained from animal fiber, and woolen clothes are generally dark in color because the dark color absorbs everything. It will not let the thing inside go out. Only white color will reflect. The dark will absorb everything. It will not allow the thing inside to go out faster. So that's how, and as a result, the air present between the woolen clothes and our body becomes hot, and that makes us feel warm. That makes us feel warm. And similarly, two thin blankets provide more heat than one thick blanket. Okay, so one thick blanket. So two thin blanket can provide more heat than one thick blanket. So because air can be trapped between the two thin blankets, okay, that's why it can give more hot. But in while using only one thick blanket, there is no place to get stuck the air. The air can will not get stuck. It is fully free. So that's why you should use two thin blanket instead of using one thick blanket, because at the between the two thin blankets the air will be heat and it will be stuck there, and we will feel more warm. Okay, so that's all for today's session. And how was this session? Comment down below and see you in the next session. Bye.